Hello, everyone. Welcome to go-ipfs. This is the first, no, second. Anyway, go-ipfs call. Jeremy should be leading. Who wants to take notes?
I can take notes.
Thank you, David.
Thanks.
Awesome. Jeremy, take it away.
Cool. So first thing is that Juan spent a whole bunch of time doing a review on all the 043 code and made us a nice big list of things to fix before we can do the release. So that's kind of going to be our top priority for now. So hopefully we can get most, not all of that done this week. It's going to be on its own branch, and we're going to, have all those fixes just on top of the 043 RC3 released. And so that way we don't have to worry about reviewing any of the other stuff, because there's some other stuff in there that's going to need more time testing, and I wouldn't want to push that into the release. So I'm going to do it that way and then merge into master after the release is done, so we get all those same fixes in master for the 044. Next up is a update on the JS IPFS interop milestone. We have a PR ready for the new protocol IDs, so the ones using the versions, so we can interrupt nicely with JS. It works pretty well. It only has a one extra round trip time in the case of talking to an older node, but then it remembers it after the first connection. And all that information is stored in the peer store, so all the other processes can use it. We also precede information from the handshake. So if in the identify handshake they tell us what protocols they support, we're going to use that to make our choices more efficiently. So that way we can avoid even more entry times. So yeah. Yeah.
Before you go into the next, can I just ask on these PR for the multi codecs, are you using the new multi-stream code? Are you using like the multi-stream that we defined when we were in Lisbon in order to support Semver and another validation mechanisms, or did you do the custom thing just for this code?
Right now, it's just using direct matching, but the Semver support is in there. So like we're all using the same headers at this point, but yeah, there is Semver matching there.
Okay.
Also have in libp2p we have WebSocket support. I want to get a little bit of testing against the JS code before I push that up, because I don't want to have WebSocket code in that doesn't work quite right for JS. Like we tested it with Go, but it's HTTP-ish protocol nonsense, so there's 1,000 different things that can be different in Go. So we want to make sure we get that compatibility first. On that, Friedel, how's the SecIO progress going? Just, you're here? I don't know if he's in this call. No.
He's not
here. We, so I will give a more thorough update on that on the peer-to-peer and JS calls. Essentially, we spent a bunch of time figuring out some last issues with pull streams. We now have a PR for every module of JS and JS peer-to-peer to migrate it to pull streams. Nice. That passes the test. That passes also the stress test, which it was the thing that we just finished today. There was some back pressure issues. SecIO now works, so we have an implementation of SecIO that works in the JS IPFS ecosystem. We haven't tested it directly to Go with peer-to-peer, essentially because we have chasing these back pressure bugs that consume us a lot of time. Also, to help us on that, if you could spend a little time getting those examples that I described on an issue on the JS with peer-to-peer IPFS. I can ping you again if you want, or I can put here.
Can you link that in the notes?
Yeah. If you can just make those Go with peer-to-peer issue recipes with Go, then it's way easier for us to create tests than just running our API. Okay, super. Thank you.
Awesome. So we're getting really close here. Maybe this week we'll have a cool demo. Cool. Then update about IPLD. if there's nothing else anybody wants to ask about JS stuff. Anybody? No? Okay, cool. IPLD, we have, so I've implemented multi-base, and then we don't quite have a multi-codec table yet, but that's like trivially simple, and I didn't see, I'm actually going to only have the package for multi-codec contain the table. Yeah, one?
Just use a table, just use whatever table for now, we can change it later. Because getting the right table for that will take a while, and I think for now we should just focus on whatever IPLD things we care about.
And that's the next thing is I made a Go CID package, and it will do just parse the multi-codec out and store that. So a version multi-base and multi-codec along with the multi-hash in there. I have that package ready. It works. Need to add more tests and also make it support the old version, like the current hashes. So, yep.
You need a README for a CID spec similar to the multi-codec or multi-base one?
That would be cool.
Okay, I'll do that.
Cool. Yeah. So I have that ready. I'm going to this week start integrating that into go-ipfs, and I'm going to make the package just use and parse the v0. So we'll basically have the current same functionality, but having the code for the content IDs plugged in, and just in like backwards compatibility mode. And then once that's in and we have all the integration points figured out there, we can switch it up to use the new one, which should be a fairly simple change at that point, because if we get in all the right integration points, then it'll fail horribly if it doesn't work.
Quick question. So if I understood correctly, I'm not sure if I heard exactly what it said, but did you say you are going to integrate Go CID this week into go-ipfs?
Yes.
So okay. But when you mean Go CID is like updating the peer the ID of the contents to use Go CID, or do the complete migration to IPLD?
Yeah, so all I'm really going to be doing is replacing any place we use the key, the multi-hash key, with the CID object. And it's going to be in a backwards compatibility, version 0 mode, so that everything looks the same, everything acts the same. We're just switching over which library we're using for that, so that once we finish all of that, we can test out bumping the version to 1 and seeing how everything changes. A few interesting things are that, do we want peer IDs to change to use content IDs?
I don't think so. We haven't talked about that though, but
yeah,
it doesn't.
For IPNS.
This is probably a larger discussion. Maybe open a topic.
Okay. Because I was thinking about that because I was looking at all the integration points of where we use these different routines, and the peer IDs kept coming up. So I'll open an issue to talk about that. David, can you actually make a note on the notes to do that? Awesome. Cool. So that's the CID stuff. Then the other issue is we need to fix bit swap, which is now possible since we have the multiple protocol handlers with the December fun. So the issue is that bit swap will always assume that when it receives a block, it should hash it with SHA-256 and check if we have that. But we need to be able to match the blocks we receive against an entry in our want list so that we can know which hashing, content identification protocol to use with that. So that's going to be on the to-do list. It'll involve changing the bit swap want list protobufs and the protocol in general to include a want list ID along with every request. Yeah. And that's all update we have. Other stuff would be code coverage stuff is moving along a little more slowly now because we've shifted focus away from it for a bit, but we're going to start pushing back on that. I think we're about 30 or 40% through getting that 80% code coverage number on all of go-ipfs, which is pretty great. Kabuxu's been doing most of that, and it's progressing nicely. would be really, really great to have that full, you know, pretty heavy code coverage on everything. Make me feel better about merging things. The other thing on that topic that we didn't scope for this, and we don't have time for this, is that getting a similar level of code coverage on all of the commands libraries. So the one package we have to exclude right now from this 80% code coverage is the core commands, so all of the like CLI commands, because you can't easily automated unit test that, but we have sharness. So I want to try and figure out a way to hit that, you know, high code coverage count using sharness and hit all of our commands and options and sub-options and all that nonsense. So that's going to be like a later goal, but it's probably it's one of the reasons we're not going to hit that 80% on some of the packages, or at least one of them. So yeah, and that's what I've got for this topic. Does anybody else have any questions or want to talk about anything?
Juan?
So a couple things that we'd love to discuss in this call. So one is, I think it's more important, is how's the milestone going? Like, I think we need to...
Sorry, say that again?
How is the milestone stuff going? Like, we need to have like a pretty cool project roadmap of all of go-ipfs and all of the things that are set to go in this quarter. Mm-hmm. So we talked last week about doing work towards that and being in a better place with that this week. So wondering where that is. And the other is last brought up the ability of going through the things that I label as must in the review, and just quickly discussing them to make sure that we're on the same page about them.
Okay. So milestones, we have first GitHub milestones that are tracking the progress of each of those, and we also have a calendar. Where's that link to the calendar? Emily, do you have it? It's not on my tab list here. Okay, so we did revise the calendar for the milestone a bit, but we're still pretty close to the original for the prime goals. Yeah, pretty close. There's been a few things that have come up, and we've had to spend more time on other things, and the 0.4.3 release is taking a lot longer than expected, or at least predicted. So yeah. One?
Is everything does everything have an issue already? Like, is every goal that it was mentioned as being part of a required milestone? Like, is any goal being required for a milestone? Does it exist as an issue already, and it's associated with the right milestone? And are the milestones properly dated? Not necessarily dated, but like, are they properly like all of them there and so on?
So, Jeremy, if I can jump in, the link for the roadmap is in the notes now. What we're doing with this, so Jeremy and I sat down and looked at what we currently have laid out and kind of readjusted the schedule for what we needed to accomplish by DevCon in Shanghai. And so we reevaluated the milestone roadmap to that point. But next steps are going to be working with Matt, as we've been coming up on wrapping up the PM doc, figuring out and implementing some of those mechanics. So right now this is just a very bare bones of what we have put together, but as we work together with Matt to put together those mechanics, we'll have a much more cohesive overhead view. But this, what you see in the roadmap doc, which only I think Protocol Labs employees are going to be able to access because of permissions, that's what we're currently going off of. Does that answer your question, Juan?
Is this different from what it was before? Like, I'd love to see what the delta is, like what changed, and what. And also, this probably should be accessible by other people in some way that is like, we probably want this to be included in GitHub in some way, whether that's milestones or a document or something, but like it should be accessible by everyone.
Right, and I think that that's part of the once we implement with Matt, part of that component is making it more publicly accessible. But this roadmap that we have, this spreadsheet, is just what came out of the cards that we put together in during the Team Week in Lisbon. So the next step that we have is going to be a public roadmap that's more available. Matt, is there anything that you want to add about that?
Yeah, just that was blocked by stabilizing the model around all this PM stuff, because there was no point in assembling these roadmaps if we were going to like restructure them to match a new model. But now that that model is stable, that's what we're doing over the coming week or 2 weeks, but really next week with Emily and me and Jeremy.
Okay. Would it be possible to just get what's on there now in a document so that other people can access it?
Yeah. But the best way to do that would just be to write it out to edit and expand through the notes for this call.
Whatever, I think just some way. I think there was already a roadmap document started somewhere that has, there's an issue, I think. I'm not really sure what we're trying to find it.
Cool. So do we want to quickly go over your review issues?
1 second, let's just figure out what the last things are. So I just posted a link to that issue. It's 127 on PM. There's a roadmap there. And so maybe we could update that to reflect what the current state is, and then maybe have a comment that says what the dip was from the past plan to now.
I guess like what one is saying is like, can we build the bike before we build the full car? Like, since there is already an issue and there was a discussion in Lisbon, is there a way to have a document, even if it's a bank account, an issue, something that says, hey, like this is what we think the current state of the roadmap is. This is what have been done so far on the last month, and this is what we expect to have done by the end of the quarter, so that like everyone that wants to check it out can see it before waiting 2 more weeks to get the fully new polished PM process deployed to go-ipfs with all of the waffle board. Because like in a sense, I guess in a sense like having something similar to Orbit or just ipfs, like just a list of things with the tasks and what are the dependencies and the requirements, and if something is blocked, would be really nice.
So in terms of like an idea of what we want to have done for this quarter, what's in progress, and what we've already finished.
Yeah.
Between the current GitHub milestones, which are up to date and contain issues for each of the milestones.
Yep.
And the captain's log, in which I go over each of those things and give a brief description of what each one is and what they contain, and give links to milestones and the issues that I have open for each of the tasks within those milestones. What do you want past tests? Like, do you want like Kanban board or?
So I think my question is, if you're mentioning like the issues and so on, it sounded earlier like not every item is now an issue yet because we're still working towards improving that.
No, I made issues for, so there's 3 main milestones we have. Each of them has a GitHub milestone, which contains a set of GitHub issues detailing most of what it needs to be on there. There's probably going to be some things that slip through the cracks, but those things aren't explicitly on the original milestone board. So if new things that are part of that come up, they don't have issues yet.
Okay, so to recap then, to answer the earlier question, is everything that needed to have an issue already created and is already in a milestone and it's already set?
Yes.
Okay. So now the milestones page is the roadmap as accessible to everyone. Is that then correct?
I'm gonna go with yes.
Well, I mean, is it like maybe yes, or is it like we?
It's yes.
Okay.
I mean, whether or not that's what we want to actually use as our primary roadmap document moving forward, I don't know. But for now, it is an accurate description of what is going on with our milestones.
Okay. Great.
The issue is that it can't track things across other repos yet. So
yeah, that's fine, and yeah, all that's good. I just want somewhere to look. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is that it would be awesome if these calls can start with, here's where we are. Here are like the goal, like the issues that we are that we have in the next upcoming milestone. Here's what I need help with, or here's what's upcoming in the coming week or something.
I did that though. I gave an update on each of the milestones and.
Okay, so it just wasn't clear to me at the beginning that you were going through this. It sounded to me like you were just going through some specific things that were kind of top of mind for you. It wasn't clear like, hey, jump on this. This is like our current roadmap. These are the milestones that we're going after. These are the issues we underneath that.
Okay.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, be more clear about what I'm going through. This list of things is from X.
Thank you.
Got it. Cool. So, any more there, or we want to go through your list of review topics?
I'm set on that.
Sorry?
I'm good with
with
that.
Cool. So, code review 4043 everything. Going through. All right. Nice big list. So how did you want to do this? Did you just want to go through each and discuss it, or do you want to lead this?
I think it's more like if you ideally it would be with some knowledge already. Like it would not be great if like the first time you see an item here is like the first time you hear about it or something. I think most of these are things that you already know about. We can do this now. We can do this later at a different time if you want more time to review all of this. I think Lars brought it up as a, hey, it would be good to actually go through it and make sure that we're on the same page. Happy to do that on GitHub too, whatever you want. Whatever you need to feel ready for each of those items so that we're all on the same page about them.
I think
that... we can do it on GitHub.
Yeah, I think doing it on GitHub would be good.
And we can make each of these a check mark if they aren't. Oh, they're check marks already.
Yep.
And then
all
just start checking them off.
Yeah, they're ready to go in terms of checking. I mean, I think that they should be pretty clear. I've left comments on each one of those on like what needs to happen, and if you can just put results with a link to the PR that matches it, and that's good. That way we know on this issue like everything.
Yep, everything
has a result.
Cool. All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up? Cool. Well, thank you all, and I will see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Have a nice flight.